Hello and welcome to Hitchin Girls School first virtual sixth form experience. I'm Miss Stojko, I'm head of sixth form. I'm just going to talk you through the website that we created and some key points regarding looking at options. Okay, for many of you, I'm sure it doesn't seem too long ago that you had to make your Year 9 options and you had quite a number of choices there. I think for some of you, you might find actually narrowing those choices down to 3 quite difficult. For some of you, you may already know what your 3 subjects are that you'd like to carry on to sixth form. Obviously, I can't make those decisions for you. What I aim to do through this presentation and through any conversations with you is just help you come to the right decision for you. Do ask yourself, is sixth form the place for me? You need to be really selfish. You need to pick the subjects that you want to do. Ask yourself, what do I want to study? What do I want to do after sixth form? Because that may have an impact on the subjects that you need to study. And also, is this the place for me? In terms of the aims of this event, it's to provide you with some information about your post-16 choices. I'm going to introduce you to the key things we've created on the website and also hopefully help you make an informed decision about your future. So if you're thinking about what subjects to study at A-level or as a BTEC, some things you might want to think about is, what do I currently find really interesting? Which subjects do I enjoy the most? Because you're going to be studying something intensively for 2 years. So you really want to enjoy what you're doing for those 2 years. Some ways to find out a bit more information about the subjects: maybe have a look at some books that are related to the course. Make sure you have a look at the specifications. All of the information is on the website. Also think about, where do your strengths lie? What do you perform well in? Are you better in exams, or do you prefer to have kind of a blended approach where you've got some coursework that you can put in? Because some subjects are completely exam based, such as maths, whereas others, maybe such as art or your design technology courses, have more of that coursework elements in there. As I've already mentioned, you also need to have a think about what your future career path is. If you've got an idea about what you think you might like to do post 18, if you're thinking of university, or if you're thinking of particular subjects, so I'd like to study sciences or I'd like to study medicine, you need to make sure that you use the UCAS website to research some of those subjects and just check what will universities be looking for me to have studied for those courses? Because for some, like medicine, you have to have particular subjects for particular universities. So for example, Cambridge, if you wanted to do medicine at Cambridge, you have to do sciences and maths, whereas other universities for medicine don't specify maths. So it's really important to do a bit of homework if you've got an idea at this point where you'd like to go. Hitchin Girls School does operate as a consortium with both the Hitchin Boys School and the Priory School. This enables us to provide you with a huge range of options to choose from. We do have transport between the 3 schools, so if you maybe started your day with lessons at the girls' school and then had lessons at the Priory, there is transport to take you to that. In between us and the boys' school, you do have to walk up and down the hill, I'm afraid. Some subjects are joint taught. So for example, PE and music are taught across by teachers in all 3 schools. I know currently year 12, so they're taught by teachers from all 3 schools, but actually none of their physical lessons are timetabled in a classroom at the girls' school. So students move about for those subjects. Some subjects are only offered in a couple of schools. So if, for example, economics is only offered at the boys' school and the Priory. So if you selected economics, you would know that you were going out to study those subjects. There, some subjects are only studied at one school. For example, criminology is only delivered at the Priory School, so you would definitely be going to the Priory School if you selected that. The way we work things, so if you're currently a year 11, your home school will be based with us, and then you put your options in. We seek to try and keep students in our school for their options if it's a subject that we deliver, and that just helps us to keep that contact and continuity there. If you pick a subject that is only available at one of the other 2 schools, then you will be timetabled in one of those schools. But we also work to try and make the option blocks work for you. So let's say you've chosen 3 subjects that technically are all offered at Hitchin Girls School, but actually there's a clash because of the way the timetable will be set up, then we'll look to see if we can make that work for you by sending you to one of the other schools for one of your option blocks. We work really hard to try and make sure everybody's options can be met, which is why we ask you to get your initial options in early. Having said that, you can change your options throughout the year, and students do, but once we start building that timetable, then that's where those points come, where we might not be able to meet all of those requests for changes. In terms of finding out about your subjects, obviously, usually you'd come in and have a go around the departments. So we have created a virtual area where you can find out about the departments on the website. So there's a Hitchin Girls School section, and we've got all of our subjects listed at the top that you can have a look and go in and out of. It's got the specifications in there. There's videos introducing you to the subjects, and in some departments they've put examples of student work so you can get a good feel for the subjects. Further down the page, you've got hyperlinks, so you don't have to go in and out of all 3 schools' different areas. You've got links to all of the subjects are either delivered, as I say, for economics, as you can see there, at both the primary and the boys' school, or whether any subjects are only delivered at one school. So you can go to those links and go straight in and have a look what those courses are all about. Within the options brochure, which is on the main consortium page, and the last few pages are quite useful for you just as a quick area of reference. So they outline all of the subjects on offer and which schools deliver them. At the back of there, there's also the entry requirements, so you can check to see, am I online to get the entry requirements for a particular subjects. So subjects will have a APS entry requirement, so you can work out your average point score by adding up all of your GCSEs that you're studying and then dividing by the number of subjects you're studying, and that will give you an average point score. Some subjects also have specific things that you need to have studied and a certain grade you need to achieve at GCSE in order to be able to continue those at A level. Our entry requirements are based on us having a look at data over a number of years across the 3 schools, so a significant amount of information. What we aim to do is make sure that a student can attain a grade E or higher in that subject based on their starting point from GCSE. We do not, our entry requirements are not about ensuring that all of our students come out with A stars, A's or B's or whatever at the end of it. That is not what they're here for. We offer a broad range for students from a variety of abilities, but just use that as a guide to give you an idea of, are you looking at the right subjects as well. In terms of combinations, do think carefully about your combinations. So, example, if you're looking at medicine, you will definitely want to be thinking about chemistry, biology, possibly maths. Some students wanting to do medicine request to do 4 subjects, and students looking at medicine do need to be getting GCSEs of 7s, 8s and 9s, because that's what the universities further down the line will be looking at. And if you look at a lot of the entry requirements for medicine, they're looking at A stars, A's, maybe AAB, a few of them, but they're very high entry requirements. So some of our students who come in with those kind of levels at GCSE feel that they are capable of taking on a 4th subject, and actually a 4th subject sometimes can be useful. So for example, for medicine, I have some students pick up a humanities subject such as English, history or psychology, so they can work on their essay writing skills. Because part of the entrance exams, they will have to write an essay about their relating to medicine. So that just helps them with that. On the website, when you look at the forms, you'll see that if you wish to request to study, you can put a request to study a 4th subject in, and we ask you to explain why you would want to do that. What we recommend for the majority of students is study 3 well, and get 3 good grades rather than stretching yourself out over 4, because that jump to A level is quite significant compared to GCSE. However, I do know there's some students that for particular reasons maybe have the academic strength to do 4 or want to start with 4, and even should they start with 4 and find actually that isn't the best option, we can reduce that to 3 later on. So as I say, do check the combinations that you're studying. So for example, if you're thinking about, I'd like to do something about sports science further down the road, a lot of universities will expect you to have done PE, but quite a few will want biology in there. Psychology can be a good subject to support that, because you do a lot about the psychology in sport and science as well. Humanities subjects, often quite nice to do a collection of humanities subjects, but equally, if you've got all essay writing subjects, you're going to have a lot of essay writing, and you might want to mix that up so you've got a range of things that you are working on. If you're looking at something like finance, business studies, economics and maths might work quite nicely. And if you're looking at economics at university, you actually don't need to study economics. Universities lean more towards wanting you to have done maths, because of the nature of what you will do at a university course is very, very mathematical based. So these are just to give you some ideas. They're not fixed, but if you know you've got a particular route you're looking for, these might help you along that way. Languages, of course, are viewed very highly. If you take an A-level language and you move on later on, particularly in a lot of companies work internationally, a language can be useful, certainly. So think about that as well. As a sixth former, you will be expected to take command of your learning. It is different to being at GCSE. So yes, you will have your hours in lessons and your teachers will set you homework, but then you'll need to be reading around the subjects and developing your knowledge and understanding as well. And this goes back to what I said earlier about it being really important that you pick 3 subjects you're interested in, because you've then got to be motivated to do that work beyond what you're being set in the classroom. A-levels do provide you with that opportunity to really focus on something that you are really interested in. So it can be a great opportunity, but make sure that you've picked the things that you really enjoy and that will motivate you. At Hitchin Girls School, we work really hard to try and help students with that transition from GCSE, because I realise you don't walk out of a year 11 class into a year 12 class and suddenly become the perfect sixth former in year 12. We do have a pastoral team, that is a sixth form pastoral support person who's dedicated to the sixth form. Our staff here really do go the extra mile. They do a lot of catch-up things and conversations with students outside the classroom. We have a house system here, and there's a bit of information for new students that are looking to join us next term, next year, which will give you a bit of information about the prefect system. And we just work really hard to bring everybody together. And I feel, and I do believe that when I look out in the common room a few weeks into the term, those students that are new that have joined us, I can't pick them out from the students that have been here and come all the way through. During form time, students will work on study skills and planning. We tailor that across year 12 and year 13. So currently year 12 are working on a program called Vesper, and I put a bit of information about that in our careers area just to give you an idea about what Vesper is. We will work through that by coming towards the sort of spring summer term. We will move on to start looking at post 18 options, looking at apprenticeships at universities. We'll start thinking about putting together personal statements and how you can champion yourself and display what the things that you've done. So we do a wide range of things to support students, not only with the academic side of things, but all the other areas that they'll need support with through sixth form and then looking beyond. In terms of your experience, it'll be 27 hours to 36 hours per fortnight, depending on if you're doing 3 or 4 subjects. As I said, we've got a tailored tutor program. We've got access to study areas, a lovely common room, and we also have access to the library and other areas around the school. So there's plenty of stuff going on there. Generally, we have a massive enrichment program that's been scaled back this year because we're not taking students out currently and we're not having lots of guest speakers in, but we're looking at different ways in which we can deliver enrichment to the students, particularly using those form times and more kind of video-based activities. So just trying to make sure we're getting a similar experience to what we usually are able to offer. As I say, form time, we've introduced a program called Vesper, and it's to help students think about their goals and long-term aims at the start of sixth form. It draws together lots of ideas about psychology and business and sport, and thinks about how students motivate themselves and set their aims and develop those throughout the year 12 and year 13. So VESPA stands for Vision, Effort, Systems, Practice and Attitude, and the activities that we have work on each of those 5 aspects. Enrichment opportunities, as I've said, we have a large amount of enrichment opportunities. We have learning leaders and ambassador programs. So learning leaders support students and work with departments to help them deliver certain aspects, maybe lunchtime clubs, or support younger students down the school. So students pick a department that they're particularly passionate about and then work with them to help deliver that. The ambassadors program is about going out and volunteering in the community. So in the past, our students have done a lot of volunteering in primary schools, charity shops. They also, if they've got a particular career they're interested in, we'll talk about how they can use their volunteering time to support and develop the skills. So when they come to write their applications in the end of year 12 and start of year 13, they'll have lots of examples to draw on in those applications. Again, currently, because places aren't having lots of extra visitors in, those programs are on hold, and we've been looking for as many online opportunities as we can. And actually, companies and universities have been great at sending lots and lots of stuff through, which we've been disseminating out to students through our newsletter. We don't have a work experience week. We do have a careers department that will work with students to help them find suitable work experience, and we encourage them to undertake that work experience during the holidays where possible. But I know on occasions that's not always possible. So, for example, I've had students who've gone and shadowed local MPs, and I've given them time out of school to go and do that, and we've signed that off, and we've just worked with them and their teachers to make sure that they've got the information they need. We have students that go on the Lister program and do work a long-term work experience placement because they're looking to go into medicine or nursing and those kinds of careers. I do encourage students to follow up with university lectures. We do sometimes have universities coming in. As I say, at the moment, lots of that is online. We have a huge prefect team in both year 12 and then our senior prefect team in year 13. And again, there's lots of opportunities there to develop those other skills outside of the classroom through being a prefect and senior prefect. Our year 11s are going to be year 13s are going to be speaking to our year 11s in form time. They're working on a lot of online options at the moment so that they can interact with other members of the school, even though they're not able to get into those classrooms because of the bubbles we're in. And we have lots of support for UCAS, both students and parents. And again, a lot of this year has been online, but we have a detailed programme that supports students with those options. And for students looking at Oxbridge, dentistry, medicine, veterinary science, or applying to subjects where they're going to need an interview, I work and get people volunteers in who come and do those practice mock interviews for us. We also offer sports leaders level 2 and 3, and there's some information about that in our enrichment area on the website. And students also can undertake the extended project in year 12, and there is a video about the extended project, and I'll just briefly touch on it. So basically, students do a self-directed project on something they're interested in. It can be related to the subjects they're studying or completely outside it, where they investigate, come up with a question, research, and then write a written piece or create an artifact at the end. So if that's something you think might be interesting, it is extra UCAS points, and is something that you can put on your application. We have lots of clubs that we run, and each year we've sent students on the Student Global Leadership Institute to Hawaii and India, and year 12s have an opportunity to apply to represent us as part of that. Again, this hasn't run this year, but hopefully we'll be back up and running it in the future. We've given a few examples of our enrichment there, so you can go on the website and have a look. We also offer the sports, the Arts Gold Award. So if you join us and you're interested in that, you can talk to the art department about getting involved with getting that. And again, it's another accreditation. We do have a dedicated careers support in place, and we also subscribe to Unifrog, which is a great online platform where students can explore careers, courses, and just apprenticeships, the whole lot. They can record information about themselves on there. And build up a really good record of things that they've been doing, where they've developed their skills, which later on will help both themselves and their form tutors put together references and applications. As I say, we've got a sixth form centre, dedicated sixth form centre with classrooms downstairs and a common room upstairs, and it's a lovely environment to use. We, a few years ago, had a new sports hall built, and within the sports hall there's a gym which students are able to go and use during the school day, should they wish to. So we've got some lovely, really lovely facilities, and we've also got a new building, our Woodside building, which has been open for a year now as well as part of our expansion. We've got lots of traditions at the school. As I say, they don't hold us back. We're also very forward thinking. Those traditions are important to us, and we've got a couple of pictures of Founders Day up there, where we introduce our prefect teams and hand out prizes for students. We have our sports day every year, apart from this year, where all the students are involved and working with us. But I say we also are very forward thinking, and you can see from the facilities and the things we've got in place. Students in the sixth form are encouraged to bring in their own devices. They can bring in their laptops, iPads, whatever, and they can get onto the school system and network and use those in school. And they're able to use those in lessons should they wish to as well. Our sixth form play a really important role in developing our traditions. And as I said earlier, we're a consortium, and we do have consortium activities that take place, particularly in year 13. The students for many years have run a competition called the Cole Swinburne Cup. It was set up by a head boy and head girl many years ago. And the students come up with their own events and things where they compete with one another to win the Cole Swinburne Cup at the end of the year. We will have to be a bit creative this year about what events we do, but hopefully we'll have that up and running again. When you're thinking about why maybe join us, we've got a track record of getting really excellent results with our students, and I say that's with having as flexible entry requirements as we can. I've put up the last couple of years thermometers. These are ALPS thermometers. We use ALPS to set our student targets, and ALPS set targets that are in the top 25%, and we believe that's where our students should be aiming. And those targets are set based on their GCSE. And then ALPS gives us a report for our departments and also overall for our school to show us how we're performing against other schools nationally. And if you're a red on ALPS, you're doing well. So we've been right up there for a number of years, and we're very proud with the what our students achieve and how our teachers work with those students to get them there. In terms of submitting your options, if you are a new student, you will, and this is on the main from Hitchin Girls School page, you just need to click on the external student options and fill in the form there. We will collect in their details about your current school and your contact details and so on, so that we can be in touch with you. And we will be in touch with you to say we've got your information, and later on in the year we're hoping to invite our external students in small groups in school bubbles to do tours around the school after school is closed. So you won't quite get the experience of having a look around during the school day, but I think it will be useful for you to come into school and just have a look and see what the school's like. For Hitchin Girls School students, you need to complete the HGS post-16 options, and you need to complete that whether you're looking to stay on at sixth form and want to put your options in, or if you're not looking to stay on at sixth form, we ask you to put some information in on that form so that we've got an idea about what you want to do after your GCSEs. We will interview all of our Year 11 students, a small team of us will, to talk about your options and what your plans are for next year in the January, and you'll get details about when those appointments are and when to go later on this term. External students, we will invite you in from February onwards to come in and discuss your options with me. Usually they're done with you coming into school, but we'll see where we are. They may well be Google Meets that I will set up and send links out to students, so we can just have a chat about what you're thinking and why, and just get an idea and make sure we've got the right options for the right reasons and that sort of thing. it also will give you an opportunity to ask me lots of questions, should you have them, about the sixth form and how things work. As I've mentioned already, we do have individual entry requirements for subjects, but our overall entry requirement is at least 5 level 4 grades at GCSE or above, and they must include a qualification in maths and a qualification in English at level 4. Those 5 do not include short course, so they have to be full GCSEs. And as I say, please do check the individual entry requirements for subjects as well. In terms of the timeline, so the virtual evening was launched today on the 20th of October. Our internal students, you're asked to complete that options form, your post-16 options form, by the 10th of November, and that, so we can start looking at options across the 3 schools, because it does take quite a lot of time to plan those timetables. For external students, the deadline is the 11th of December. We do accept applications after the 11th of December, and our application for externals will remain open. But if you apply after that point and we get to a point where we've got subjects that are full, we'll come back and say, actually, we're unable to meet the options that you've requested at this point. For both internal and external students, if you decide to change your mind, you just go back into your options, you go back in, fill in the information again, and resubmit your options through there. The way forms work, it date stamps it, so we can see that actually you've filled in 2, 3, 4, however many times, and we'll just go with the latest options that you've put in. So there's no need to come and find us or email us physically to tell us you want to make a change. I've gone through the other key dates there. We do plan to usually have a taster session in the summer term. So this year's taster session was actually an online event similar to what we're doing here, where departments introduced their subjects and then talked through the bridging work which we set for students to complete over the summer in the subjects that they selected for A-level or their BTECs. I will obviously give you further details when we know exactly what's happening with the exams and other things there. Enrolment will be in August on your GCSE exam days, and we work for a couple of days round there, getting students onto courses, talking with them about if they need to change their options, what might be good alternatives, or if they've decided actually they're not sure what they want to do. So that support is there for sixth form enrolment in the summer, and then we will aim to start in September with our new cohort of year 12s. So that's everything from me. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the very best of luck with year 11 and look forward to talking to you about your options later in the year. Thank you.